have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got health care, and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out?
I'm not. Obama, them boys crazy. Them YNs crazy, Obama. I ain't.
The pandering is out of control. It's getting out of control now. I don't even know where to start. Like, first, where has Obama been? This guy that promoted change, and that was the slogan. Where have you been? Like, the job is not done. As a black leader, when we looked at you, it wasn't just for the presidency, dog. You were supposed to lead the community. And look, I don't think Obama did a bad job as a president. I'm not one of those people that are going to go out here and fake the funk. But, you know, I'm one of those guys that don't really trust the government and what they're doing. If I look back at all the presidents, they're supposed to do a good job. You're supposed to take care of the American people, uphold the Constitution. I would hope. You know what I mean? And shout out to Kamala Harris, a hardworking black woman. A lot of people saying she's Indian, she's black. I don't know. But whatever she says she is, that's what y'all know how it be. But where has Obama been? And who are you talking to, my dog? He wants to completely, he wants to focus and address the black male. Okay, let's do that. But first, where have you been for us? It's so convenient during the election cycle. They prop up these people that first of all, where was your opinion at when Trump was in office? When they lit up them tiki torches in Virginia? Remember that? When Colin Kaepernick taking knees, were you by his side? I gotta check that out, though. I gotta fact check that. And then lastly, during the insurrection, I mean, he's made some comments, but the job ain't done.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
The job ain't over. So now it's so convenient how, boom, the DNC makes their pick. And it's like, yo, Obama, get out there. We losing. Do a slam dunk. Hit a three from the corner. We need this. And I'm sorry, but it's too late. And I'm gonna explain why it's too late. When they announced Kamala, right? You thought it would be like a landslide of support, but the Dems were hesitant. It took a little while for former President Obama to come out and show full support for Kamala. And you gotta kind of ask yourself why. It was, the announcement was made. He wrote a letter. He wrote a letter when President Biden stepped down, and in that letter, he wanted to honor President Biden, but there was no support of here's who's next. You would think that would be the announcement, but it wasn't like that. That's just odd. I'm like, where were you during these times? Dog, even when Trump got elected or anything, there was no comfort. There was no yo, Obama. We screaming student loans, Obama. And ain't nobody coming to save you. You feel me? So for the fact that now it's hey, we're supposed to, big dog's here, Obama's here, and we gonna rally. It's kind of dog, yeah, we know what you are. So the big thing I wanted to address though, Obizi made a few good points on what Kamala is actually running for and what her policy is. And then I want to even talk about Trump and his policy. Let's focus on Trump first. This is not a campaign to say Trump is a great guy. I'm not for that. I'm local. So when we saw the Trump casino close, right? He wasn't out there trying to, find jobs for people in the blue collar community who couldn't find work, who needed to go to a different casino. He wasn't there, just closed shop and people were out of work. Trump wasn't around. Trump's a terrible businessman. There's several bankruptcies. He knows the loopholes. But I think what people are kind of gravitating towards with him is there's almost no fakeness. That government polish isn't there. And I think that's what people are subscribing to is finally some truth. These people don't care. And it is what it is. And I'm not saying black men are going in droves to vote for him, but black men are just sitting down yo, this is a waste of my time. This is a waste of my time. And even when you think about the points that Obama's bringing up on what Kamala's running on, it still seems like a waste of time. If you look at what he talked about, you look at the points that Kamala's running on, housing, primarily rent. Obama said that. And there's no teleprompter, so there's other points that he could have made, but maybe he wasn't prepped and maybe he was speaking from the heart. Housing, rent, right? He talked about affordable care for the elderly and protecting the Affordable Care Act, right? And then he talked about entrepreneurship. I think black men care about entrepreneurship, but I'm going to say this and, think about it for yourselves. Do we focus on entrepreneurship, or is our community starving for jobs and work? A lot of people laugh at what Donald Trump said about black jobs. And, it's a stupid thing to say. But can we at least get to base level opportunities for the black male? Can we at least talk about that? Can we at least talk about how, when he talks about Kamala and how hard she has to work, it's not just black women, it's black men too. They can't get jobs. They can't get work. It's tough, right? So let's go back. Let's go back and see what Obama, make sure those are the 3 points that he touched on.
Vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing, medicine, and making sure that
medicine?
we are dealing with prices that are too high.
Prices that are too high. Medicine
and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act. So everybody's got help here. And cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods.
Entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods? What does that even look like? Explain what that is. And that's half of what I try to talk about too when I meet with people and talk about their business plan or getting out of debt and things like that. I'm focused on what are you doing to secure funding to deploy your strategy. There in the neighborhoods, there are no strategies to deploy. I'm not even joking. When you see what's on Instagram and YouTube, it's a lot of scamming. It's a lot of people selling courses in our communities from people that look like us. That's not the entrepreneurship that we want to spark. But how can somebody with a great idea go to the SBA and execute their strategy? That's not talked about, right? The other thing, if you look at the 3 things black men probably care about, other than yams. Student loans, That was promised to be canceled and has not been. Thankfully, they're revamping their program and student loan cancellations will become easier. I hope so. I'm rooting for that. That promise wasn't fulfilled from Obama's stint up until Kamala's entrance into the race. The incarceration of black men. As I'm recording this right now, Lil Durk has been arrested. He had an informant in his crew, and he's going to jail. The mass amount of other black men that are going to jail who are possibly innocent, who the kind of circumstances made them commit a crime, whether you're dealing drugs or something like that, they are going to jail. No one's talking about that. Police brutality is no longer an issue. They're worried about if cops commit police brutality, they get immunity if Donald Trump's in office. But yet, under any of these other administrations, cops go unpunished for their acts in police brutality. But we're cool. Lastly, stimulating the black economy. Like I said, let's focus on bringing ideas to the SBA and properly funding them. Educating ourselves about the process of getting funding, the process of developing a business plan, sending these incubators, these SBA incubators, these consultants who are doing things part-time in the community, they're not showing up and they're not proving themselves. They're not going out in the community. You know what I mean? So when we talk about these things not being put to the forefront of the race, I think you're going to see the black male step out. They're not going to care about this anymore. It doesn't make sense to continue to vote for a party that's not going to put the things that are important to you, right? Important to you in front of you to entice you to vote for them. That's what's going on. And I really wish that the Democrats would understand that the black man feels lied to. The promise of change, if you look at it from when Obama was in office, hasn't been fulfilled. Maybe you got some of these, those folks who are in fraternities, sororities, the upper echelon of the black race, right? They're probably seeing some change and they're doing good. And, if you're buddy with some folks that, got it like that, they see the change. They see, get this government contract, blah, 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 let's do this. But people in the hood ain't feeling this, man. We ain't feeling this. And I'm not saying that these are the only jobs we can get where we could only be barbers, only be trash men, but show me how to use the system to expand fleets in my trucking. Or if I got a garbage like crew, how can I expand to get maybe a city contract, a state contract? How can I be a sub for waste management? I'm not saying those are the limited things, but how can I use these tools that everybody has access to? That's the change we probably want to see. And if you're at the forefront of that change, maybe we'll follow you. I just don't think that's what's going on. So Obama's confused. The rest of the Democrats are confused. But, I just really wish they would get through their minds that the black man is fed up with what's going on. And rather than them claiming that we're going to another side, see that we're just not playing ball in this arena, in this court anymore.